Sa loob ng 74 na taong pagkakatatag ng Naga College Foundation Incorporated, hindi makakailang ang kasalukuyang panahon ang isa sa pinakamakasaysayan. Sarado na ang ibang gusali na dati ay kanlungan ng kaalaman at balayang kaisipan. Markado na rin ang daan at iilan na lamang ang estudyanteng nagkukumpulan. At mas mahigpit na rin ang pagbabantay upang masiguradong walang manganganib na buhay. Nasubok ng pandemya ang lakas at bilis ng institusyon na tumugon laban sa banta sa kalusugan at sa mga kaugnay na suliranin nito. Natuklasan ang mga kahinaan ng institusyon at pilit na gumagawa upang paunlarin ito sa kabila ng nililimitahang pagkilos. Sa mata ng kasalukuyang Pangulo ng NCF, paano nga ba nananatiling matatag ang NCF sa gitna ng pandemya?
Isa sa mga naging bahagi ng tabloid issue ng The Naga Collision ang eksklusibong panayam sa bagong luklok na Pangulo ng NCF na si President Mario Villanueva. Sa panayam, naitanong sa Pangulo kung inasahan niya ba ang posisyong ito at kung magiging challenging ito para sa kanya. Kapwa oo ang sagot ng Pangulo. Sabi niya pa, "I know that the challenge is going to be great, but I love challenges." Kung pagbabasehan ang kasalukuyang krisis sa kalusugan at sa mga aspetong kakibat nito, nahaharap sa hamon ang NCF kumpara sa mga nagdaang dekada. At ngayon, sa ikatlong tala ng the COVID-19 Diaries, isang malaking karangalan na makasama at makapanayam ang dating Vice President ng Ayala Corporation at ngayoy 6 na taong Pangulo na ng the Home of the Champions, President Mario Villanueva. Good afternoon. So ayan, I'm actually here with the President of Naga College Foundation. Good afternoon, sir. Kumusta po kayo?
Ito, busy but doing well. Thank you.
That's very nice to hear, sir. Anyway, my name is Jeff Merlin, the President of Central Student Government, and it's such an honor for us na napagbigyan niyo po kami ng time para makapanayam po kayo.
Marso 14 taong 2020, nang magdeklara si Naga City Mayor Nelson Ligason na walang pasok noong Marso 16 ng parehong taon sa bisa ng Memorandum No. 2020-002 upang masiguro ang kaligtasan ng lahat mula sa banta ng COVID-19. Sa parehong araw, naglabas din ng ACD Memorandum No. 11-2020 ang tanggapan ng Vice President for Academic Affairs ng NCF na nagdedeklara ng suspension of classes sa lahat ng antas noong Marso 15 upang magsagawa ng campus-wide sanitation. Ang Marso 14 taong 2020 ang naging huling araw ng face-to-face classes sa taong panuruan 2019 hanggang 2020.
Panayam po kayo. So my first question po is, noong nalaman niyo po na nagkaroon na po ng first ever case ng COVID-19 dito sa Naga, ano po yung unang pumasok sa isip niyo?
Nung unang mga cases, I was expecting and I was praying na wag naman sanang lumala at wag maging pandemic. But as the months go by, I was constantly watching world news, especially in the US, dahil ang US ang malakas ang reaction nun towards what happened in China. As we all know, it all started in Wuhan, China.
Correct.
Dahil COVID na yan, the virus, it will only take a vaccine for it to be prevented from becoming a pandemic. Or if it's a pandemic, then how it can be stopped as a pandemic. So looking at my researches, I have all of this data, minimum 3 years. So I got scared. I said, wow, what will happen to the businesses, our country, and more specifically our school?
Yes.
Will schooling stop? Will the economy stop? Yeah. So all you can do at that time is pray, no? Say, hopefully this does not deteriorate from the last pandemic, the Spanish flu, na talagang people got killed and economy got devastated and a lot of businesses closed down. So yun, umagat gabi, since na kulong na tayo sa bahay, talagang I constantly watch world news, CNN specifically, and then news from the British Broadcasting, BBC, and all other news. So I can gather informations. So yun na nga, the US is saying na nung panahon na yun, wag matakot sa pandemic, etc., sa COVID-19, it will go away. Because that was the era of Donald Trump. No? He was that strong and a believer, and he said that we will fast track a vaccine. At that time, he was already proclaiming that. Magpa-fast track namin yan. Solution will just be around the corner. No? So, because the President of the United States, the strongest country in the world, so he just tend to believe what he was saying. No? Pero on our side, he, of course, got worried kasi paano na yung mga sweldo ng mga faculty and our staff. No? We have 400, at the time, 426 full-time and part-time employees. Kaya, paano na itong mga to? No? Lalo na, if we stop schooling, then the income of the school doesn't come. Alam mo naman, ang school natin is being dictated by our monthly collection from our students. We're not the kind of school na pag nag-enroll ang estudyante, bayad agad. Di ba? Tayo yung down payment ka, monthly bayad ka, at the end of the semester, kung may utang, sige lang, pasok ka ulit next semester. No? And with our intention na makapasok. So, to specifically answer your question, it was a scary moment. No? But the positive side of it is I stayed at home for 24 hours. So that's the only time that I stayed with my family, my wife and my daughter, no? Who was with me dito sa Lumeda, na we stayed together for 24 hours. No? Kaya masaya kasi dati talagang in-out ako sa bahay. I come home, medyo tulog na yung anak ko, and then tired, etc. No, normal again.
Exactly.
I guess about every family. So, we had a good time, but pagdating na ng gabi, iniisip mo na yung ibang pamilya. No? Okay? And that was the beginning of the story about what was my feeling about the pandemic. It was scary, but there are lessons to learn, and that's what I did. Just keep going, one step at a time.
Pinaghalong modular at online learning ang naging unang hakbang ng Naga College Foundation Incorporated o NCF upang tapusin ang ikalawang semestre ng taong panuruan 2019 hanggang taong 2020 na dapat ay magtatapos sana noong Mayo, desisyong hindi sanang-ayunan ng 𝗬𝗵𝗏 ng mga Insyano. Naging palaisipan sa mga Insyano kung paano matatapos ang natitirang 3 buwan ng ikalawang semestre sa gitna ng pandemya. Samantalang, buo na ang desisyon ng NCF na idaan sa modular at online ang pagkatuto ng mga estudyante. Nadismaya at hindi kinatigan ng mga organisasyon ang naging hakbang ng NCF. Mula Abril 20, taong 2020 hanggang Abril 26 ng parehong taon, sunod-sunod na nagpaabot na magkakahiwalay na panawagan sa tanggapan ng Pangulo at Student Affairs ang 𝗬𝗵𝗏 ng mga Insyano. Sila ay ang College Debate Society o CODES, the Naga Collegian o TNC, Central Student Government o CSG, College of Arts and Sciences, Student Council, CAS-CSS, Society of English Enthusiasts or SEE, Institute of Computer Engineers of the Philippines, Student Edition o ISEP, at Bicol Society of Public Administration o BSPA. Samantala, magkasama naman sa iisang panawagan ang 𝗟𝗲𝗏𝗁 Youth for Climate Action at Geodetic Engineers of the Philippines Incorporated, GEPI. Laman ng mga panawagan, ang kani-kanilang opisyal na pahayag, mungkahi at rekomendasyon batay sa isinagawa nilang survey at pag-aanalisa. Ilan sa mga naging panawagan ay ang no to online classes at yes to mass promotion at ang cut at refund. Matapos ang 5 araw ng panawagan, Abril 27, naglabas ng patnubay si Pangulong Mario C. Villanueva. Laman nito ang pahayag na kukumplituhin lahat ng akademikong pangangailangan sa kolehiyo sa unang 3 linggo ng buwan ng muling pagbubukas ng klase, batay sa rekomendasyon ng iba't ibang ahensya ng gobyerno. Samantala, incomplete o INC ang pansamantalang marka na matatanggap ng mga estudyante habang kinukumpleto ang lahat ng akademikong pangangailangan maliban sa mga estudyante na naitala bilang drop due to excessive absences o DEA. Nagbigay rin ng detalye hinggil sa summer classes at assessment o pre-board para sa mga magsisipagtapos. kinagabihan ng Abril 27, naglabas naman ng pahayag at paglilinaw ang NCF batay sa inilabas na patnubay ni Pangulong Villanueva. Ayon sa naging pahayag, hindi pa napag-uusapan ang tungkol sa school fees. Inanunsyo na rin nila ang desisyon ng Academic Council na suspindihin ang blended learning alinsunod sa naging resulta ng isinagawang survey at sa naging pahayag ng Pangulo. Subalit, naging taliwas ang implementasyon nito. Naganap pa rin ang online at modular learning sang-ayon sa desisyon ng mga propesor.
Pahintulot ka po ba na tapusin ang second semester ng academic year 2019-2020 sa pamamagitan ng blended learning?
It's not my own decision. We have to follow government regulations. So we kept waiting for instructions from DepEd for our basic education and for CHED for our college and our graduate studies. So we constantly benchmark with officials that are known to us. So with all the information that I gather, we prepare whatever would be the eventuality. Fortunately for us, even prior to the pandemic, we were already implementing technology. If you remember, probably nasa second year ka pa lang, no? We already campaigned for digital transformation of NCF. So there are courses and there are departments where we started digital. Nagkaroon na rin ng, we started using Google in teaching inside the classroom. So we experimented already on free applications, and we were already using Google at that time for teaching methods and practices. No? Kasi alam naman natin that technology is really coming in.
Exactly.
We are behind with regards to technology. Not only our school, but even the whole country.
Yeah.
I've worked in different countries. I've worked in the US, I've worked in China, I've worked in Hong Kong, I've worked in Japan. And I can say now we are 20 years behind.
20
in terms
years.
of technology, laging 20 years. Kahit nung nagtatrabaho pa ako sa electronics industry, looking at the development in the United States especially, the Philippines was really 20 years behind, and we are always on the catch-up mode. Kaya yun ang difficulty. But ang maganda dyan, marami tayong Pilipino na napadala sa US, and whatever they have learned, they bring back to the Philippines. But as I said, development is quite slow. So we just tend to look at developed countries on what they're doing, and we sort of follow. So now it's my dream na, the Philippines with so much talent, the Philippines should really start to be at the forefront of things, just like Singapore and Hong Kong. Malaysia has done it. The Philippines should, with so much talent that we have, yung mga talent kasi natin, pagka nag-top, maganda ang experience, pupunta abroad. So silang ba? So I hope that there will come a time that really we would also be at the forefront of technology, because there's no way for us to go but technology.
Pero sir, nung dumagsa ang panawagan ng mga student organizations during that time, nabawiin mo yung naging decision mo, ano po yung naramdaman or ginawa mo?
Let me try to recollect. Ano na naramdaman ko? First and foremost, I was not angry. I'm always happy for students to be giving me a feedback. And
Thank you, sir.
even one or two feedback, I make sure that I answer it or I do something about it. Because one or two feedback can be a feedback of many more students. Right? So I always see to it that I get feedbacks and I'm happy about their clamor. Ang hindi ko lang nagustuhan kasi, yung students natin parang sumunod sa nangyari sa Manila. Dahil may mga eskwelahan na na-declare na ng, ano ba tawag natin doon, ng karaan?
Academic freeze?
Yeah, academic.
Mass promotion.
Yeah, they wanted mass promotion, and then academic, hindi vacation I forgot the exact term. No? Pero parang tapusin ang schooling, because of the pandemic, etc. But I never make a decision by myself. I confer with the other presidents in Naga. We met with, we have an association in Bicol called Bicol Association of Public Colleges and Universities, that's BAPCO. where Ateneo de Naga is there, UNC, USI, and other UNEP, USAN are part of that. And we conferred and met. And almost all of us agreed na the semester is just around the corner. Let's finish it.
Yeah.
Okay? Through our group na CSG, I met with them and tell them, no, it's not for the money. It's for your education.
Exactly.
You have to finish it. Kasi education should continue. So let's not follow what Manila is doing because they have their own reasons. I'm not saying they're right or they're wrong, but they have their own reasons, and we should decide based on our own reasoning. Diba? Kaya ayun, we decided to continue on blended learning and finish it off. Right? We just committed that nobody would fail as a compassion for everybody on it. Pero it doesn't mean na pag hindi ka pumasok, hindi ka pasado ka, no? You have to still comply. But we will be giving everybody enough time to comply on whatever are necessary for them to pass the subject. Diba? So, yun ang naging decision natin. And that also became the decision of all the other schools and universities in Naga. Na, okay, just to help everybody, we'll make it easier than the face-to-face, but let's finish what is due them. It's not my own decision. It's a decision made by also all the other presidents in Bicol, and also, of course, consultation with our deans and our vice president and department heads and our board of trustees. And the decision was the same. No, just finish it off, whatever it takes. Kaya nangyari noon, kinancel namin ang summer. So, wala ng summer para yung ibang can continue while we are adjusting to blended learning, online learning, and so on and so forth. And we did it. Diba?
August 24, 2020, nang magbukas ang taong panuruan 2020-2021 sa college ng NCF. Online learning ang pangunahing paraan ng pag-aaral. Subalit hindi pa man natatapos ang second quarter ng unang semester ay muling nasubok ang online learning nang bayuhin ng Super Typhoon Raleigh ang Bicol noong huling linggo ng Oktubre na agad namang sinunda ng malakas na bagyong Ulysses makalipas lamang ang halos 2 linggo. Nawala ng supply ng kuryente ang ilang bahagi ng Bicol at lubos na humina ang koneksyon ng internet, mga dahilan upang pansamantalang itigil ang online learning modality ng Naga College Foundation. Gaano po kahirap or gaano nahirapan ng NCF sa biglaang pagbabago ng sistema, like, from online to modular nung kalagitnaan ng unang semestre ng academic year 2020-2021?
Actually, I was happy to do it kasi nga ma-accelerate yung digital transformation ng Naga College.
Yes.
No? So, ang nahirapan talaga dyan are some of our senior faculty. No, yung mga batang faculty natin, especially those faculty that came from Ateneo, from USI, and other schools that already are well-versed on technology. Hindi na sila nahirapan dahil nagamit na rin nila yung Google Classroom, the G Suite. No? So, parang lang sa kanila yun. And they shared their knowledge to the senior ones, di ba?
Yes.
There were even some senior faculty na mag-resign na lang yata sila, sabi nila, learn. Yung hirap ka yung kumuha ka ng assistant and start learning because technology is the future and the future is technology. So, okay naman. They persevered to do it and nakaraos naman tayo. Kasi, yung mga senior naman kasi natin, okay, they may lack some of the technology knowledge, no? Pero they have the experience. Di ba? Yung mga lessons, etc. The experience. No? Sabi ko, well, we will be throwing away the experience of our senior faculty and teachers. No? Itong mga bago naman, okay, they're technologically advanced, pero yung experience, di ba? In communicating with the students, how to impart certain knowledge. So, minix namin yun, no? We blend it. Kaya tinawag natin yung ating Flex 50 or blended learning. No? We prefer to call it blended, which is, for me, a blend of technology and the old method, no? Asynchronous and synchronous type of teaching,
Yes.
learning, and blending of the senior who has the experience and the juniors who have the technology. And I guess that's the winning formula.
Very, very nice. It's a very beautiful situation. Helping one another, the nuance and the senior. It's like combination of theories and application.
Right.
Experience of the senior in teaching and then the applications through technology.
Makasaysayan ng araw ng Marso 22, taong 2021 sa NCF matapos na pormal na pahintulutan ng Commission on Higher Education at Department of Health, ang College of Health Sciences ng NCF, na magsagawa ng limitadong face-to-face classes sa bisa ng Certificate of Authority 001. Nakasaad sa sertipiko na epektibo ito mula ngayong araw hanggang sa unang semestre ng taong panuruan 2021 hanggang 2022. Maaari naman itong mabawi kung mapatunayan na bigo ang NCF na masiguro at mapanatili ang kaligtasan ng mga estudyante at empleyado sang-ayon sa Joint Memorandum Circular No. 2021-001. Matatandaang binisita ng mga opisyales ng CHED, DOH at lokal na pamahalaan ng Naga ang NCF noong ika-3 ng Marso taong 2021 upang magsagawa ng inspeksyon sa mga pasilidad ng institusyon. Nagsimula noong ika-12 ng Abril taong 2021 ang limitadong face-to-face classes ng NCF-CHS matapos na maudlot ang nakatakdang pagbubukas nito noong ika-5 ng Abril dahil sa patuloy na pagtaas ng bilang ng kaso ng COVID-19 sa lungsod ng Naga.
Kailan pa po naghanda ang NCF para sa application? This is actually one of the most beautiful things that had happened in NCF and I'm very much proud of it, sir. Yung nabigyan tayo ng CHED para magsagawa ng limited face-to-face classes. So, kailan pa po kayo naghanda nito and how did you prepare for it?
Alam mo, I can remember as early as the first semester, I assigned to all the deans and our TRC, our Technology Resource Center, and the different deans, na do benchmarking, do researches when a face-to-face gets started, ready tayo. So of course, number one dyan, safety. How can do a face-to-face? Then we are not a safety campus. So as early as last year, siguro mga June, we started transforming our school into a safety campus. Sabi ko, I want our campus to be called a safe campus. And that's what we can be proud of. Whether alcohol, hugas ng kamay, so tayo ng mga lababo kung saan-saan, diba? And so on and so forth. Everything that has been put forth as a guideline by World Health, by CHED, by DepEd. So sundan namin lahat yun. We put all of these things together. And of course, there's a clamor already for face-to-face kasi hirap nung online. Diba? Nung una, ang hirap tanggapin. Talagang everybody wants to go back to face-to-face. But nothing we can do. Government says no, online. So we just have to accept and make the best out of it. So, as early I think that was January already, CHED already started benchmarking. There were 2 schools that they went into to be the sample of a safe campus. So, nagpa-benchmark ako kung sino yung nahandun. And ano yun? That's Health and Sciences. That's Fatima and Angeles, I believe. So, nagpahanap ko ng mga kakilala. Anong ginawa doon? Anong nangyari? So, as early as January, we already got information kung anong in-inspect, ano yung kailangan. And then, CHED will come up with a guideline. Okay, so, we started formulating things, and sabi namin, paglabas ng guideline, sigurado itong manalo. So we were ready. And when CHED came up with the guideline, halos ready na kami, nakakuha kasi kami ng sample din na ginamit dun sa inspection, guidelines, etc. From the inspection team. Ano na yun, open naman. So we got hold of it and followed it to the letter and prepared already. Kaya nung February, I can't remember the exact date, nung CHED naglabas ng official guideline, na-ready na tayo. We have the manual, the school is ready. Naglabas ng umaga, Nung tanghali, nasa Legazpi na tayo, dala-dala na natin yung letter ko, binago na lang yung date, no? Yung pinirmahan ko na lang na nag-a-apply na tayo for a limited face-to-face. No? Dala na yung manual, kompleto, pati yung checklist na galing sa 𝗟𝗏. Inano namin, review constantly, magat gabi, tanghali gabi. We kept on reviewing things, spent money on it, no? Trial, etc. Saan pa tayo, no? Took movies, etc. Talagang yung team ng I would like to thank yung TRC natin, yung human resource, no? Marketing also contributed, and of course all the deans and the different heads. Pati security natin, talagang they're all in on the manual that we did. And we submitted, biro mo tanghali, naglabas ng if it was February 13, no? Basta one date. Tanghali, nasa 𝗟𝗏 na tayo. We were the first to submit kompleto, letter, application, manual, etc. requesting for an inspection. No? So 2 weeks later, we were the first to be inspected and pass. Kasi kailangan 100% eh. 99.9, we still don't pass. No? So na 100% tayo ng 𝗟𝗏, saka ng Department of Health, sa City Health Office ng Naga. No? So we were the first. Kaya labas na, we were the first to have been approved here in Region 5, ready for a face-to-face, limited face-to-face for our health and sciences. No? So, yeah, and then we became a benchmark for a lot of other schools, and we are proud of that. No? Ginawa namin ng film, we share it to the other schools. Itong ginawa namin, itong ano dyan, so may video pa tayo na. And then some schools have used our school as a benchmark. And we're happy about it that we can
Napanood ko din po yung video na yun. And I think nagawa po natin yun because of the collective effort talaga ng NCF community. And congratulations, Sir Mario, for your leadership. Anyway po, ano po yung mga naging daan upang maibigay ng 𝗟𝗏 ang authorization to implement limited face-to-face classes? Well, you've already told us yung mga steps and then how did you come up with it. And nakakatuwa po that the effort na ginawa ng admin ng iba't ibang departments. So, thanks to the deans and the human resources, marketing, as well as TRC.
Yeah.
Ngayon po na nagpapatuloy na ang limited face-to-face classes para sa College of Health and Sciences, ano po yung nakikita niyong susunod na department?
Before I go into that, alam mo, gusto pa rin namin ma-enhance itong ating safety campus. Last week, I met the group again. I showed them some materials that I got from the hotel industry. Kasi alam mo, hotel mahigpit eh.
Yes.
Magandang, magandang guideline yan. So I borrowed it. And we will implement it starting next week. So, hindi pa tayo tapos dun sa pag-enhance ng safety precautions sa school natin. So, we'll continue improving. One example, yung barrier, no? Ng mga sa teacher, sa cashier, sa etc. Nung una, isa lang barrier, okay na, maliit ang butas ngayon. No? Pero next week, we will start to make the barrier double or triple and make it higher. No? So marami na tayong natututunan ngayon and we will continue improving. Okay? So, now going to your question, ano ang susunod? Hindi naman tayo makapanguna dyan eh. No? Gusto nga sana natin, I tried na yung safety guidelines ng ating criminology. Sabi ko, baka pwede nga, sumulat na ako sa 𝗟𝗏, nagbigay ako ng mga sample, or yung sports, dalawa na actually yung request ko sa 𝗟𝗏. And both came back and said na antayin nyo na lang yung guideline. Okay? Pero I'm happy na kahit pa paano, meron tayong nabigyan ng materials doon na actual. No? So, ayun, we will be proactive. No? That has been our success secret. Proactive tayo. Hindi lang ako, kundi lahat talaga ng empleyado are proactive with regards to information. And after that, proactive ka sa information, kailangan may gawin ka eh.
Yes.
Diba? You should put it into action. Let's put things together, diba? Para mapakinbangan mo yung natutunan mo. So ngayon, what I've been hearing is isusunod yata ang engineering. 𝗟𝗏 will come out with a guideline on safety for limited face-to-face for engineering. And then, I think it's IT. No? Ano masasabi ko? Sana all na. Pwede naman tayo buong campus.
Why not?
We have 6 buildings. Hindi hiwa-hiwalayin natin. Di ba? Sa CBA o dito ka sa annex. Sa campus. Di ba? Yung ating criminology, may sariling building. O yung mga laboratory. So, let's start with laboratory. No? Yung mga hands-on experience na hindi nahirapan ka matuto talaga sa online.
Yes.
Iba talaga yung nasa laboratory ka, you're handling certain equipment, di ba? So, ano na naman, I think we've been there for 18 months. Sana all na lang.
Yes po. We're also praying for that.
Huli tayo ng ilang taon. Pag isa-isa pa yan paano naman ang seated? Yes. Di ba? Paano naman ang criminology? Paano ang CBA, ang accounting, ang businesses? May mga laboratory din yan. So, umpisahan na lang sana all for laboratory, di ba? Lahat ng laboratory, open up for limited face-to-face. That's our prayer and that's our dream. Let's take one step at a time. Isa sa laboratory, di ba? Yung mga subject kasi pwedeng online. Pero yung laboratory, how can you put ang laboratory? Di ba? Sinasabi nila, mag-imagine ka lang, mahirap yan Diba? O mag-experiment ka, may baso ka sa bahay. I don't think it's effective. Kaya nga tayo nag-put up ng expensive laboratories equal to what they will encounter in the fields, in the industries. Pinapantay natin, every year we spend like 30 million pesos a year for upgrading of our equipment. Pag may nakita kami anong meron sa labas na yun ang technology, then we try to procure para upgrade din ang ating mga estudyante. Hindi na sila magugulat pagdating sa labas.
Yes.
So, ayun, sana all.
Gusto ko yun, sir, sana all talaga bumalik na ang sa dati. And, after being successful in terms of transforming NCF as a safe campus during this pandemic, you have also come up with another beautiful thing that's called Compassion for Education program. Can you tell us more about it, sir?
Alam mo, yung Compassion for Education started nung naghahanap ako ng ano kaya of course, alam na namin yung gusto namin gawin. May roadmap kasi kami sinusundan. Managing into the future is our team, no? Sabi ko, let's call it, ano ba itong gagawin natin? So, we could not find the right words at that time. Until I read, binigyan ako ni Sir Al ng yung life ni Saint Lasal. No? And I constantly see the word compassion, education, no? Para sa mga bata, walang ano. So I started putting, I think this is what we're doing in Naga College, no? Yeah. Compassion for education. Kasi yun din ang ginawa ng grandfather ko. He started this school para affordable and quality education sa Bicolano. Diba? And that's our market, the class B, C, and D. No? Pero quality-wise, we can compete with the class A.
Yes.
That's what we did. Kita nyo naman ang mga ano natin. Ayoko mag-brag, but I can say that our laboratory, if not the best around here, is comparable to what they had in Manila.
Yeah.
Every time I visit a good school in Manila, I look at their laboratory, I look at their curriculum, no? And are we already comparable?
Kumbaga nakakasalay.
Pagka alam ko, nakapantay na tayo sa Manila standard, ang titingnan ko naman abroad para maka-abroad naman. Maka-abroad naman ako. At doon ko naman isasabay itong ating school, no? Na international standards. Parang basketball yan no? Kaya tayo nag-champion ng 7 years in a row. Okay? At saka nag-number 4 tayo all over the Philippines. Can you imagine? A school in Naga. Becoming number 4 all over the Philippines in collegiate basketball. No? Eh, ginawa kasi namin, ang niraise ko yung standard ng mga player at saka ng team at saka ng coach ng Manila. So we constantly go to Manila, we practice with UE. Number one, sports natin ng basketball. And that's how we started the home of champions.
The champions.
Diba? So, yun. That's our standard.
Sa kabila ng krisis sa kalusugan at mga limitadong kilos dulot ng pandemya,
hindi pa rin nawawala ang mga pag-unlad at oportunidad na pumapasok at nagpapalago sa NCF. Sa ika-74 na anibersaryo ng NCF noong ika-5 ng Marso taong 2021, pinasinayaan nito ang Tigre Swimming Training Pool, bagong automated teller machine kiosk, bunga ng Memorandum of Agreement kasama ang Development Bank of the Philippines. Pinasinayaan din ang Lemon Residences noong ika-18 ng Disyembre taong 2020 at nagbukas ng Nagayan Travel and Tours noong ika-8 ng Hunyo taong 2021. Pinasinayaan na rin ang bagong driving school nito lamang ika-12 ng Hulyo taong 2021. Ano nga ba ang nasa likod ng paglawak at pag-unlad na ito?
Yes, sir. And napansin ko din kasi medyo natagalan bago ako bumisita dito sa campus. And seeing the new facilities, grabe yung pagbabago. Despite of the challenges and the hardships that this pandemic has been bringing us, talaga namang yung NCF namamayagpag. Bakit po or paano patuloy na nagkakaroon ng NCF ng mga projects, expansions, and new ventures?
Ito kasi yung philosophy ko at saka ng management. When the economy is down, there's no way for it to go but up. So kung down ang economy, maghanda ka para ready ka na sa itaas. Hindi yung umaakit saka ka pala mag-ready. Exactly. So that's what we're doing. We're preparing for the upsurge of our economy, of our families, including our school. No? Hindi naman tayo pwedeng magpahuli. Right? Nagagawa naman natin yan dahil sa nakaipon ng Naga College. No? I will go back to our philosophy of our school, founded by my grandfather, na our organization is like a family. No? Kaya nung nag-pandemic, I can say that we are the only school, I think, that did not lay off anybody. No? Nung nag-pandemic na, tsaka kahit pa paano, nagpapasweldo tayo sa mga faculty.
Yes.
As an advance, no? Dahil sabi natin, matatapos naman ito, advance na kami para mabuhay, hindi naman po pwedeng ganyan. And when a decision was asked, or a question was asked na mag-lay off pa tayo, sabi ko, bakit tayo mag-lay off? Bakit? Bababa enrollment natin. Diba? Kasi pag tinanggap mong bababa ang enrollment mo, mag-lay off ka. Diba? Sabi ko, hindi. Bakit tayo mag-lay off? Diyan lang sila. Basta kinausap ko ng mga empleyado, hindi na kagaya ng dati ha, medyo tipid-tipid naman tayo. Ang importante, makakain tayo 3 times a day. We survive. Babalik din ito eh. You know, have faith in God that this will pass, no? And of course, with a lot of prayers, siyempre, that's what will make you stronger, di ba?
Correct.
So we did not lay off anybody kasi nga, sabi ko, na pag-angat natin, mag-hire ka na naman. Well-trained na nga itong mga tao natin. Saka willing naman na, magbawas muna tayo ng honorarium ha. Kasi wala na, hindi mo naman ginagawa ito. Babalik mo na lang ito pag ginagawa mo na ulit yan. So on and so forth. Nagtipid naman. And the employees are very cooperative for us to survive. Sabi ko, kaya mag-survive eh. Meron tayong naipon, okay. Gano'ng katagal ito, baka maubos to, di ba? And of course, with the help also of our banks, no? We use our credit lines for us to keep going. And lo and behold, nung enrollment na, hindi ganun kalaki ang drop ng ating enrollment eh. Alright? We were less than 10%. May mga nabalitaan ako, may ibang eskwelahan, especially Manila, may mga nagsarapan, di ba? Nag-ambumagsak ang mga enrollment by 30%, yung mga ganun. So sabi ko, 10%, this only brought us back last year. Last year, itong natin, we survived last year. We survive tayo. And lo and behold, with good faith and good prayers, no? Everybody's praying for success. Here we are, we survive. Kaya tuloy pa rin yung investment, nabawasan, pero we do it such that in preparation for the upturn of our economy. And I know that with good leadership ng government, especially next year, election na, no? So I'm sure that the voting public could start to vote for a better,
the right people.
The right people, di ba? Kaya sana mga kabataan na voting age na ay magrehistro at bumoto, di ba?
Yes.
And influence the parents na eto nga na I mean, tayo ngayon yung nakaakas eh. Hindi, mag-usap si tatay, si nanay, sino may boboto natin. Diba? And let's vote for the right candidate. Diba? So, yeah, by faith, no? And sabi ko nga nun, if God is willing, we will survive and we will continue. Diba? We'll be on the upsurge. So, ayun, 2 semester na. And we listen, ang key kasi, we listen to the students. Maraming, ang Facebook ko talagang 3 o'clock I wake up. I think pag minsan napapadalang pa kita ng message at 3 o'clock in the morning. Diba? So, I listen to what they say. Sinasagot ko naman. And most of the complaints, not complaints, but most of the requests ng student, gusto mag-aral eh. Sabi sa kanila, ganyan din ang gusto namin, mag-aral ka, just keep going. Pag nakagraduate ka, you have a better future, di ba? Pag tigil ka, magkatrabaho ka, what future would you have, di ba? Okay, ngayon, medyo tigil ka, nakapagtrabaho ka. What about your future? So, think of the future, and education is your best way to have a better life, di ba? And that's our mandate. I want everybody to finish. Yun ang aming mandate eh. Kasi yung bata, gusto makatapos, tulungan natin makatapos to.
Yes. As cliche it may sound, talaga naman po, yung education is very important for us to survive. And so, we are very much lucky to have a president like you, na talaga namang you are genuinely compassionate about supporting the students who would like to be educated. And napakaganda. And I think that's one of the reasons why NCF is so much blessed.
A parent comes doing ang trabaho niya, janitor, padya, but the child is taking criminology. Mahal ang criminology natin eh. No? Hindi naman siya pinakamataas, pero I would say it's quite mataas na rin. Diba? Pero hindi naman napakababa. Diba? So it's just right. We always make sure na affordable eh. Yun ang aming dyan eh. Affordable pa ba yan? We're there. We're in the right position pag affordable. So, may mga gano'n na pangarap nila yung anak maging criminology, makatapos, maging police, no? Meron namang isang janitor na, gusto niya anak niya maging nurse, etc. Di ba? So, sabi ko, that's continue with your dream and it will happen.
Yes po. Diba? And ano pong bahagi ng karanasan mo ngayong pandemya ang pinakamahirap? Para sa akin, parang wala namang mahirap sa'yo, sir. Pero tatanungin pa rin kita, what has been the most challenging aspect sa buhay niyo po ngayong pandemya?
Medyo matagal kong isip. Challenging. Every day is a challenge to me, and all of this starts with the dream. So, siguro ang challenge sa akin yung kasi I'm workaholic. I love working. I love results. Siguro ang challenge sa akin at saka yung difficulty sometimes yung sometimes or more often than not nababagalan ako sa result eh. Kasi nasanay ako dun sa industry, mabilis ang mga result eh. I used to handle like 7 companies all over the world, no? Yung gano'n. And nasanay ako dun sa corporate settings na when you give something, you don't do it, I'll fire you, no? That's a corporate work. Okay. That's something that I cannot do here eh. Baka multuhin ako ng grandfather ko. Teka muna anak, pamilya ito, hindi ito korporasyon. Diba? So, that's a difficulty. So, I really have to change my management style, even my personality. No? Na na parang ikaw na yung grandfather dito, father dito, diba? Ang approach, okay, magagalit ka, may makapagalitan ka, pero in the end, it's the relationship as a family member. So, that's the moving spirit in this institution and how we survived, how it survived for 74 years. We'll be celebrating 75 years next year. Wow. And we are preparing for it already. We are hoping that we will have a grand celebration, 75 eh. That's diamond. That's a diamond celebration. That's how many schools survived for 75 years. And our team is onward to 100. No? 100 for the school, not my age. So, the next generation. So, sustainability of the school to survive another 25 years with the same policy, with the same relationships, di ba? And with the same dream for our school. Kaya yun ang team na ginagawa namin ngayon para next year, tingnan natin isang contest, sabi namin, sino na kaya ang pinakamatandang alumni natin? Let's give him or her recognition. Sino kaya rito yung pamilya lahat nakatapos sa NCF? Di ba? So we'll also give them a recognition. Yung mga ganon. So that's what we're preparing for, and hopefully magkaroon tayo ng grand parade, magkaroon ng face-to-face dito, magkaroon ng activities sa school. If not, then we'll do whatever we can, whether virtually or whatever is possible. That's safe for us, and the celebration will still be there for 75 years.
Wow, that's something na isa sa mga i-look forward namin, Sir Mario. So good luck. Yes, of course, sir, for the Diamond celebration. And Sir Mario, sa iyo pong palagay, tinatamasa na ba ng NCF ang tagumpay at pag-unlad sa gitna ng pandemya? Of course.
I cannot, I will not call it tinatamasa na ba ang tagumpay. Alam mo, ang tagumpay sa akin is I see every year that we graduate more and more people every year.
Okay.
Hindi yung paubos ang graduate. No? So I don't look at are we the biggest enrollment? No. Okay? What I want, ang focus ko is I want students who would graduate. Okay? And if we'll have a high enrollment, fine. But I want everybody to graduate. Diba? Yun ang natin. Let's make sure that they would graduate to the best that we can. That they would be the best and world-class in terms of what they've learned from Naga College. No? Kaya, yun? Are we successful? Pag sinabi ko kasing successful na, baka mag-stop ka na eh. So, I prefer to say that the challenge is bigger every year. No? And I can count one success, no? Like if we become a university, we're working on that. No? So, if we get approved on our College of Medicine, we've been applying for 3 years, and 𝗟𝗏 somehow is coming up with a certain CMO that is giving us difficulty. No? So all of this, we keep on praying. Sana mabago yung CMO na yun ng 𝗟𝗏 na one college, one hospital. Okay? Kulang na nga ng doktor eh. Baka naman pwedeng 2 College of Medicine sa isang hospital. So that's what we're trying to work for and pray for, na mabigyan ng chance ang NCF na makapag-introduce ng College of Medicine. Especially now, nakita mo yung health and sciences natin are really doing good, no?
Yes.
In terms of board passing rate, no? And lately, sa nursing, meron tayong top 10, number 7.
Wow.
Kaya, that's another feather in the cap of NCF. And we'll continue doing that. This year, nag-budget kami hanggang next year for higher accreditation of all colleges. No? Level 1, level 2, basta every year kailangan tumataas ang level natin until maging autonomous. Okay? Kasi maging Center of Development and Excellence. So we have all that in our timetable. Medyo na lang nung pandemic, but here we are. We put budget again para ma-accredit ulit yung ating on a higher level. It's difficult, but it's workable, no? And we want to every year have higher level of accreditation on all our courses.
That's nice to hear, sir. Ako naman po bilang isang mag-aaral, masasabi ko pong natatamasa ng NCF yung tagumpay in terms of how we remain adaptive and responsive to the challenges of time. Kita niyo nga po, kahit may pandemya, we still continue.
Yeah, and what I'm happy about are our NCF students are together, no?
Yes.
I mean, we help each other, nakikita kayo sa Facebook.
Yes po.
No? Trying to live normally already the new normal. I think that's what we we know that COVID-19 will not be zero. Hindi magsisiro yan, di ba? So, the COVID viruses will be here for us for I don't know how many years, di ba? Vaccines will have to be developed, no? And so on and so forth. So, it's moving towards the new normal that we should embrace it, accept it,
Yes.
have a step forward, no? Diba?
Correct.
Yun ang tawag natin, a step of courage. Diba? Pero kailangan use your head.
Yes.
Take a step that's safe also. Diba?
And sa palagay niyo po, with all of the success na tinatamasa ng NCF, yung development, how we cope up with this pandemic, syempre po nandiyan na talagang kaakibat nito yung galing niyo sa leadership and the collective effort na mga kasama niyo po dito sa NCF. But para kanino po ang tagumpay ng NCF? Like, kumbaga, para kanino bumabangon araw-araw ang NCF?
Kukulit ko lang yung una na akong dahilan, no? It's the people behind. Sila naman ang dyan eh. Ang style ko kasi, I'm not the best. I always treat myself as there's always somebody better than me. Okay? And I surround myself with people who are better than me. Yun ang that has been my management style. Kasi if you have people below you that is better than you, they'll push you up. Yung iba kasi iniisip na pag mas magaling yung nasa ibaba ko, tatanggalin ako nito. No way. Diba? Okay, so I always surround myself with good people. And here we are, no? It's the good people that we have. Dr. Aida, all our deans, yung VP admin natin, diba? Si Ma'am Tina, our finance, sa accounting si Rolly, and so forth. No? I think we have the right mix of people. And it's the blending of them that makes us stronger. Diba? So, anong sunod na question mo? Para kanino to lahat? Of course, all of this is for God's glory. Before I sleep, in the middle of the night, pag-wake up ko, everything I do, and everything that would happen sa NCF is if it's God's will. Kahit anong gustuin ko, if it's not God's will,
yes,
it will not happen. Di ba? And there will always be a reason for a failure or a success. If it's a failure, that means you are on the wrong direction. God is just correcting you for you to be on the right direction. Diba? And if you offer everything to Him, and you're guided by His wisdom, diba? And you follow whatever is written, sabi nga, pinanganak ka pa lang, may pathway ka na eh. And so it's with NCF, no? May pathway na rin ito eh. And we can only dream and hope that this becomes a university and we sustain the school for us to be here for the next 50 years. Siguro ako muna nandito. Gaya na ka na, lola mo dito graduate.
Yes. Yeah, I've been learning a lot of things from you, sir. Thank you very much for sa mga insights. Pero if meron ka pong isang lesson na ibabahagi sa isang estudyanteng nagsisimula pa lamang, what is that lesson that you learned out of this pandemic that you'd like to share with someone who is starting to dream or build up his dreams?
Alam mo, kaya ako din nalito eh. I always said this. Sabi ko, never stop dreaming. Always dream. There's nothing wrong with dreaming. What is wrong if you don't do anything about your dream? Diba? Kaya sabi nga ni Ralph Waldo Emerson, don't be pushed by your problems. Don't be pushed. You'll always have problems eh. Diba? Don't be pushed by your problems. Be led by your dreams.
Nice.
Don't be pushed. Huwag kang itulak ng problema. Be led. Susundan mo yung dream mo. And ultimately it will happen. So if it's God's will, it will happen. Pero if it's not, then you will realize na ito pala na yung dream.
Yes.
Kasi kung ang dream mo, you become the richest billionaire on earth. It might happen if that's God's will, di ba? You don't know. Nabasa ko nga yung the 10 richest man in the US. Meron may anak na yaman na, pero meron galing sa wala. Hindi na po tapos ng galing, naging bilyonaryo. Di ba? Out of a simple idea, he became a billionaire. So, tingnan na yun. It depends on your dream. And sa akin, ang dream ko na rito is I'm now on my last stages in life. No? So I will be 71 this year. I've done a lot already. I've been in several big corporations. And And alam mo, kung sabi ko sa inyo, no? I didn't even want to be president here in Naga College.
Yeah, I remember.
Kasi, isip ko, baba ng sweldo eh. Ang daming problema.
Yeah, you told me you've been earning $500,000 a month before you even became.
Pero easy money, easy work.
Easy money.
Hindi ng sweldo ko rito. Ikaw ang trabaho ko na sweldo ko rito. Pero alam mo, you see people graduating and becoming professional. Naalala ko yung grandfather ko, sabi niya na, papunta siya sa Amerika. Si tatay likod dyan. Pupunta ko yung mga estudyante ko. He went around the US, no? Visiting. Tuntua yung mga estudyante ng mga nagbisitin niya, nag-graduate ng Naga College. Alam mo, malis yung grandfather ko, I forgot how much it was, no? Pero sabi nga ng auntie ko, pinabuhay muna namin yung si Lolo, no? Ng so much dollars, papunta na Amerika. Pagbalik, mas malaki pa dun sa baon niya. Kasi pagdating niya sa amin, binibigyan pa raw siya ng mga estudyante niya. Kasi token of appreciation, di ba? So, ayun, I always remember that na, you know, it's friendship, it's how you develop people. That eventually, that's the biggest reward.
Yes.
And what more can you be rewarded for by having professionals coming from the class B, C, and D for them to have a better life than, you know, like a panelist.
Yes, sir. And I think, I'm not sure if this is going to be my last question, sir. You know, the future remains uncertain, especially with the status of this pandemic. But how do you see NCF in the next 5 to 10 years from now?
The next 5 years, we hope we will keep on our digital transformation. It's already
Digital transformation.
We keep on updating our technology. We keep on training our faculty such that our student graduates should be qualified in the technological world.
Wow,
So
nice.
I think that's one formula of success. Second would be sa mga empleyado naman namin, what I want for the next 5 years is I don't want a repeat of what happened during this pandemic. Na umasa ang mga faculty sa eskwelahan. Okay? So, we are now coming up with programs for our faculty to save, to earn extra. Hopefully, the school can give them bonus when the performance is good, and so on and so forth. So, we would like to teach everyone to save. Kung wala nag-save ng NCF, where we would be, no? And we were happy that we did save all these years, and that's what we would like to teach our employees. Now, we don't know what will happen in the next 5 years. There could be another variant, diba? And we might be shut down again for a couple of months. So, sana they'll be self-sufficient already, self-supporting. Nang umasa sa ayuda ng gobyerno.
Yes po.
May trabaho tayo, magpipon tayo, may trabaho, be ready for the future. Nang lagi sinasabi ng grandfather, tumulong ko ka, para ready ka, whatever happens. So, yun, those are the two things that I'm looking at in our organization. Digital transformation and the best for our students. Kaya yung investments natin, makita nyo. Lahat ng grade 12, gusto ko, pag-graduate nyo, marunong mag-drive.
Wow.
Ng criminology, pumili tayo ng pick-up at saka rush, no? Dahil ganun ng mga mobile ng PNP.
Opo.
So gusto namin, pag-graduate mo, parang kayo mag-drive ng pick-up, parang mag-drive ng ano, hindi puro motorcycle lang. Diba? So, ganun din yung mga grade 12 natin. Gusto natin na pag-graduate ng grade 12, marunong mag-drive. Kaya we put that up. Now, why did I put up na gayon? Ang industry kasi ng Bicol, unang-una ay agriculture.
Opo.
Marami ang agriculture na sa Bicol. Sa Naga is commerce. Kaya ang daming bangko rito. Ang result ng agriculture is trading. Kaya Naga is, ang industriya dito is trading, commerce. Ang number 3 is tourism.
Tourism.
Alam mo ba na ang Camarines Sur had 5 million visitors and spent, if can remember the figure ang mga turista, ang revenue.
Wow.
No? Kaya nagtiyo kami na gayon, we acquired management of a hotel, no? And take tayo ng Tigres Cafe para yung mga graduate natin ng BSHM, marunong ng barista,
Yes.
okay? Hotel, pinalalayo, right? And then travel agency. Soon, we will be launching our Nagayon with our students. They can book flights kasi ang tourism will take off by next year all over the world. Ang tao, pag kinulong mo ng may isang taon, after niya, gusto niya lumabas eh. By human nature yan eh.
Yes.
May bibiyahe yan. Okay, so, mag-isip ka na 2 years from now, saan mo gusto mong bumiyahe? So,
Europe.
let's help the tourism industry in Bicol, in Naga especially. Diba? Pag Peña Francia, let's make sure that when they come to Naga for the Peña Francia Fiesta nila, ay safe sila dito sa Naga. Diba?
Yes.
Para hadayo pa tayo rito. Then we create revenue for everyone. And that's NCF market eh. Andiyan yung mga parents ng ating mga estudyante. Kaya tourism, we are involved, we will involve ourselves to helping the tourism industry in Bicol. Kaya we are going into these businesses para alam natin natutulungan natin sa estudyante. Hindi po pwede kasi yung puro libro lang.
Correct.
Diba? Kailangan
Application.
Management, alam niyo yung ganang nag-approach, alam natin kung ano ituturo natin. Yung estudyante yung matututunan, tama. Kahit pumunta ka pa sa kahit saan, marunong natin estudyante. Diba? So,
Yes.
Tingnan pa natin where we can expand further, no? Especially on technology. Iisip ko nga kung paano tayo makakasakay doon sa electric vehicles. By 2030, hindi na magmamanufacture ng kotse na di gasolina ng ganyan. All vehicle manufacturing vehicles will already be electric vehicle by 2030. And by that time, ilang taon na ako, 80 na. But we will prepare our students for the new technology that's coming in, mga different applications. They're not being controlled by our cell phone eh. Diba?
Yes po.
Order ng pagkain, information,
Shopping.
education, shopping, diba? Delivery, free on delivery, applications na lahat, taxi. Pati trike ka, nakakatawag ka na ng, tawag mo sa Manila, yung motor.
Tok-tok. Angkas.
Diba? Okay? We are not being controlled by technology. And we should teach our students how to use technology responsibly.
Responsibly.
Hindi yung nakatuto ka doon. Use it. You command, hindi yung technology na nagpo-command sa'yo. So, that's the transformation that we're looking at for the next 5 years. We would like to be at the forefront of technology. That means we can divide it into 5 channels. It will be longer in reach. So I'm trying to apply for our own FM station and so on and so forth. So we're looking at different technology. Dami pang magandang bagay na we're looking at. We would like to tie up with the US educational institution on health and sciences and also of technology. Para dito na tayo sa probinsya, advance na rin ang technology.
Yes.
Kahit na anak ng farmer, yung technology yung natututunan will help farmers. Okay, but yung pamilya nyo nasa farm, bigla kang mag-migrate to sa Manila kung anong trabaho. We need food to eat. Diba?
Correct, sir.
Kaya magkakalimutan ng farm. And then, of course, leisure, tourism. So, diyan tayo makakatulong sa bayan natin.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for all the insights that you shared. Excited ako mapanood to ng mga kapwa natin estudyante kasi alam kong marami silang matututunan and you're a living proof and you're just, worth being tagged as really the Iron Man. And thank you very much for proving not just here in Bicol but to the world that Naga College Foundation is indeed the home of the champions. And meron ditong sinabi yung PNC. When PNC asked you last 2015 about something you thought you cannot do, but still you were able to, you answered nothing. And that's very much evident. Talaga namang hindi mo pwedeng magawa, sir. Like everything that's in your mind, it becomes a reality. You justified your answer by saying, when I think of something, I always think that I'll be able to do it. Sometimes I fail, but I learn from failures. Mr. President, that statement 6 years ago reflects in our special dialogue today. And just like you, we are also praying for the success of our beloved NCF. Na talaga namang, wow. Slow clap for you. Kasi talaga namang, if it can be thought, it can always be done. Maraming salamat po sa oras and sa lahat ng shinare niyo po ngayong interview na to. Thank you very much po. And any last message?
And sa NCF Tigre community, continue dreaming and education must continue.
Yes, I must agree. Thank you, sir, and more power to NCF. Salamat po.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Para sa patuloy na malasakit at paninilbihan, ako si Patricia Tan.
At para naman sa inklusibong pangunguna at pamamahala, ako si Jeff Merlin. At ito ang ikatlong tala sa The COVID-19 Diaries.